everyone, it's Kim with Lolly Doodle Studios. Welcome in. Excuse me, I think I'm whew, going to sneeze, but it doesn't want to come out. It is Wednesday evening, thank goodness. It is Watercolor Wednesday. We're back for another working our way through the alphabet session. We're up to the letter I this week. I've got to get better on asking your suggestions because I want to paint the things you want to see me paint. But I went ahead this week and we just decided to paint an insect. Really, insects are not my favorite thing in the entire world, but we're just going to paint them kind of cute. So if you'll do me a favor, when you come on, if you see me here live, please say hello and let me know where you're watching from. If you catch me later on the replay, that's fine as well. Just drop me a note below. Say I'm watching you on the replay. And I want to know, do you like insects or not? Like, do you like to hold and touch insects or not? Because that's a big old no for me. So we're getting set up. The aqua pad, we're going to use Aquarel. This is new paper to me. It is 100% cellulose, right? So it's not cotton, but we're going to give it a shot and see. So far, I've had some decent results with it. I have got my Daniel Smith paints set out in this little plastic palette. Nothing fancy about it. I've misted them down with some water so that they can get nice and juicy. And we're going to sketch out a little insect. Now, as I said, I am not an insect. What's the word I'm looking for? I'm not an insect specialist, I suppose. So we're kind of gonna go with it. I'm gonna do like a little beetle, but we're just gonna put a cute spin on this beetle. And what I want to do for Watercolor Wednesday is keep these recordings quick and easy. Things that you can do, things that we can all do, regardless of what level we start out. And although I'm going to sketch, so I'm going to get started. I'm going to lightly just sketch a little bit of an oval here. Right, so we're going to just do an elongated oval. This may not be like any insect you've ever seen in your life, because as I said, I'm winging it here, guys. So if you do not like to draw, if you are not into the sketching part, but you would like to paint, I'd love to invite you over to check out the Brush and Script Society. That is my online membership where I put mostly all of my templates available as a digital download. And I also have kits for sale right now. Those are all available on Little Sparrow Collective. I'll put all that information in the description box below. But we're just going to give this guy a little head, like a middle. I don't know the parts of the insect, so you can happily let me know what they are in the comments, but we are just kind of going to roll with it. And I believe these guys have some little legs that pop out like this, then come back like this, and then have like little points. Again, we're not going for realism. We just kind of want it to look like a beetle. So I'm going to do the same, just going very quickly. They're not exactly the same mirrored images, but we're going to give them that little pinchy, that little thin look. And then I think they have another set of legs here. Could be wrong, guys, but that's okay. If you're here and you do know, please let me know in the comments if I'm wrong or if I'm right. And then I'm assuming a lot of them have some sort of antennae. And as I said, we are going to put a fun spin on my beetle because I am afraid of insects. But when I thought of eye, that's the first thing I thought about. So I'm going to bring my water over, my watercolor over. And I'm loving this kind of, I don't know why I'm constantly pulled to these colors here on my palette. The pinks and the reds and the blues, yellow. And then there's the warm colors here, but I like these. Sorry about the dogs barking. It's real life, guys. Thank you for hanging out with me for a little bit. We're just going to try to paint a cute little bug. Now, I don't want to paint it realistically. I want to paint it fun and a little bit of wet on wet. So what I am going to do just very quickly is remove some of my pencil lines. You may not be able to see them very well. I don't know if that's going to let me zoom in or not, but you can see the palette. I'm going to just come in and lighten up my lines. I don't really want to see the pencil lines bleeding through, coming through once I'm done my watercolor. So I'm just going to come in now and lighten them up a bit. And I'm using this kneaded eraser. Doesn't ruin your paper, and it's, better with watercolor. And I'll link that below as well. You can grab one on Amazon. They're cheap, they're reusable, and they're a great stress reliever. So, trying to keep these tutorials under like 10 to 15 minutes, and considering I've already rambled on for about 7 minutes, I don't think that we're going to make it. So, but that's okay. We're just going to keep trying. I'm going to come over with my water, and I'm going to pick this back end side of my beetle, and I'm going to just fill both pieces of the whole beetle back here in. I'm so sorry, I don't know the name of the piece of the beetle. I'm going to take some of this really pretty, like a magenta red, and add some water to it. And I want to let the watercolor do its thing on the page. So I'm just going to drop some pink in there. Look at the way that just blew down there. See where I had a lot of water, right? Remember where our water is on the page, where our pond is, our color is going to spread in it. I have a lot less water on this side, so it's not going to spread as fast as it did on that side. It's okay. I'm going to leave it be because I love the look of that. But I'm going to dry my brush off a bit, and I'm just going to help this side come down just a bit. I'm just going to pull it down into the water, and maybe I'll lift a little bit of that and push it back up. Okay, and I kind of want to do just a really fun look. So I'm going to come back over, and I think I want to use some blue. So I'm going to grab some of this really pretty blue, and then I'm going to come down to the bottom of my beetle and fill that in, right? And I can just use that brush, pull that water around, that color up and around. My paper, we did wet the paper, but that's how fast it's drying. So right now we're almost doing wet on dry. Now what I'm going to do is clean my brush off. I'm doing that off camera. And I'm going to tap some of that water off on my paper towel. Not all, but some. And I want to come in here and wet this middle part again of my beetle so that that blue will start to blend upward a bit more. I can coax it. I can coax the two of them to kind of start to meet in the middle. Or I can just leave it alone. Maybe I'll bring it and let it meet in the middle, just in the center. I can darken up. Let's darken up some of that blue. Let's use a little bit of this deeper, darker blue. Why not? We are not making a realistic bug. We're having fun with this guy. So I'm going to leave that right there like that. Clean my brush. Tap off some of the water. And I'm just going to wiggle my brush back and forth. I don't have to hit every single spot. I can leave some of my white. Leave some of your white there for some highlight. Add some interest. You can always use your brush to lift color back off. I like the look of that. I think it's pretty cool. I'm going to let that dry for just a little bit. Now I'm going to move up here to the head. I don't want big puddles of water. I just want that glistening look. So I'm going to wet the head part of my bug. It's just wet. There's a glistening of water, but no really big puddles. And I'm going to come in and I'm going to mix some of that red over in here with some of that blue. Right, so we've just mixed some on the palette. And I'm going to tap that just right around the edges of the bug's head and eyeballs. And I'm going to let the water on the paper do the blending for me. Okay, so I'm pulling off some. If you have too much water, dry that brush and use it as a mop to soak it up. I can always come back in and tap that deeper color in just a bit again, right? This is not all the way dry, but the paper is drying a bit. But in the middle of my bug's body, let's see what happens if we just come in here and lay a dot of that purple. Let's just lay a few dots. Do 1, 2, and maybe I'll do a third one. And then I'm going to try to mimic that on the other side of the bug. You can see where this side was more wet than that one. So the color is going to travel quicker, right? It's going to spread quicker. But I'm just going to roll with whatever the color does on the paper. Let's clean that brush. This is not dry yet. So if I don't want all of it to blend together, then I have to dry it. So I'm going to dry my watercolor real quick. Hold your ears, guys. So I'm not really looking at comments. I apologize. But if you have questions, you want me to explain something better, or if you have an idea for next Wednesday's watercolor, which would be the letter J, drop those suggestions in the description box. I'm going to dry this. So we've got our pink, blue, and purple bug going here. We need a color for up here. So I think I would like to make that a nice yellow. So let me add maybe a yellowish green. So I'm going to grab some yellow and get that color mixing here. And I think, no, is that's purple. I don't want that. Let's get some of this. And I'm just going to mix it over here with my yellow, which gives me that really pretty, like grassy green. Okay. Now, my paper's dry. I just want to do this middle section, and we have already, I believe I've already ruined my 15-minute time limit, but that is okay. I think we're going to have to up the stakes on this 15-minute thing and add some sort of a giveaway, right? If I go over the 15 minutes, let me know what you think about that. And maybe we'll start doing some little giveaways on Wednesdays. You know, if I can't stay under my 15 minute, I would do it the other way, but the chances of you winning are better if I say if I go over the 15 minutes, because I can't do anything under 10 to 15 minutes, obviously. So I'm going to grab some of that yellow, and I just want to drop some of that. And I'm working wet on wet. I wet my paper, and I have wet paint on my brush. I'm going to drop that yellow, just kind of pull it along my bug. I'm not really looking for realistic highlights, but I've left some white of the paper showing through the color for some highlight. And maybe I'm just going to add in a little bit of green, just a few drops of green around the two sides. And I'm going to let that be. I think this is, I'm just going to bring some of that green up to his eyes. I'm going to let them dry. I actually like that yellow and green for legs. So I think we're going to do a little bit of an ombre where I'm going to take the green and do a little bit of each of his legs closer to the body with this green. Maybe I need to mix up just a bit more of this green. That's pretty. I'll put some on this little leg here, pull it down, right? And then I'm going to grab some of that yellow, and I'm going to put that there and let the green and the yellow just start to blend a bit. That will be pretty. Let them touch. Wherever it's wet, remember your paint and your water are going to blend. How quickly and how much all depend just on how much water that you're using. Right? But he's already cute. He's almost like a rainbow beetle. Right? And to finish that off, if I use a color that mixes well with yellow, when that blends, we'll get a neat blend as well. So I think I'm going to come back over here, grab some of that magenta. I don't want the purple. I just want this magenta. And I'm going to pull that with the tip of my brush right in and let it touch the yellow. If the yellow is still wet, the magenta will blend. If not, it will just sit there. Either way, it's fine. Okay. So I'm going to let that be. I'm going to use the antenna. I'm going to do in that really pretty magenta color. Okay. And remember, we had our little spots. I can come back over and darken those up, or I can leave them as they are. I think I'm going to leave them as they are. I like the softness of this. Can always come back in at a later time with some ink and fix up certain spaces of the book. But maybe I will just take a little bit of my magenta and just shadow a little bit. It's not going to spread far because the paper is dry. I'm just going to use that magenta to put in the separation between the body for the book. And that's about it for tonight. Guys, I hope that you enjoyed this. If you would like to create more with me, all kinds of creating watercolor, acrylic, lettering. We're going to be kicking off a really good fun party in Brush and Script. And I would love to have you come check that out. I'll drop all those links for you below in the description box. I want to know what you think about this. And of course, if you do not already, please subscribe to the channel. Hit the like for this video. It just lets YouTube know that you kind of like this and you think someone else may like it as well. And with that said, I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your evening. I will have another video up tomorrow as part of a YouTube collaboration playlist. So I would love it if you would come back and join me then as well. All right, guys, until next time, get painting.